running this series, but we're just going to still keep it running and hopefully bring in speakers that interest and engage you guys, because obviously IB is a lot of work. We've already seen that with the first week and a half. And so if we're bringing in speakers that mean you miss your classes or study periods, obviously it's super important that they're worth your while. And lucky for us, our first speaker this year is definitely worth your while, because it's Mr. Olli-Pekka Heinonen, who is from the International Baccalaureate. And if you don't know, he's actually the Director General, which means he runs the entire program that we've just started. And he's been running it since 2021, and before that he worked as the Education Minister of Finland, which, as I'm sure you know, is a country known for its educational system. So this is obviously very impressive. And at the end, obviously, you guys will have the chance to ask questions, which I really urge you guys to do, because, you know, obviously you've been bombarded with information about IAs and CAS and TUK and all that stuff. So this is someone like who runs the entire thing. So it's a great opportunity for you guys to find out what you want to know. So yeah, please join me in welcoming Olli-Pekka Heinonen.
Hello. That won't work. Hello. That works better. Very nice seeing you all. Very nice being here. As said, my name is Olli-Pekka Heinonen, and I'm kind of looking at you and I'm thinking about that at a certain point I was in your position, with one exception. I wasn't studying the IB. I was taking the secondary education in Finland, and actually when I thought about coming here and putting myself in your shoes, there is a thing that makes me envious to you. Because when studying in Finland, and I very much appreciate mentioning the Finnish education system of being highly valued, but in the Finnish education system on the secondary level, there isn't anything like the core in IB diploma program. It doesn't exist there. And the thing that I have wished that I would have had as part of my studies is exactly those elements that are there in the TOK, extended essay and CAS. Why? Because when I look at the world that we are all faced with, I see that those are really the elements that are becoming more and more important. It's important to have the knowledge. It's important to have the skills to use the knowledge that you're getting. But what is becoming more and important is that you're also having a motivation to use the knowledge that you're getting. And that is something that CAS, for example, is all about. It's about having the possibility to reflect who you are and connect with other people. Not only asking yourself what you are getting from the education, but also enabling that question in your mind that what is the world asking from you? What do you have to offer to this world that is unique and something that nobody else has? Because each one of you have that element in you. You're all faced with number of kind of misinformation, disinformation, deep fakes. That's the reality where you're living. And if you don't know how you know, then you are not capable of navigating that kind of a landscape. Again, TOK is the one that gives those capabilities to you. An extended essay, having the possibility to be in charge of a larger entity and really master it. I get approached quite often by IB alumni who are in universities or already in the working life. And they are telling me two things. They are saying that it was pretty tough to go through the IB. The second thing that they are saying is the first years in the university were so much more easier for us than anybody else. Because we had already, as part of diploma program, we had done things that others were doing all for the first time. So I'm not going to use the time of the questions because I really want to talk about things that you're interested in. But just saying that we're not studying for the grades. The IB programs is all about creating the ability for you to live a flourishing life. As in every aspect what you do, in working life, but also as a important people to the people closest to you, and also as a citizen in your communities to make a difference. So happy to be here and really much expecting the questions that I will be hearing. Thank you.
Thank you for that speech. And naturally, I started my research for this interview with a Google search of the IB. And the first results that were suggested to me were things like, why is the IB so hard? And why is the IB so stressful? But then rather than hear what Google's AI overview has to say, I thought it would be better to hear from the IB itself. So can you tell us, why is the IB so much work?
Well, I would say that there isn't such a thing as effortless learning. That learning always takes effort. Learning happens actually in the unfamiliar territory. Because learning starts with not knowing. It doesn't start with you knowing something, but it starts with you not knowing and then engaging with the world. And that is hard. It's hard for us humans. But actually, that's what life will be. Real life is stressful sometimes. There are hard moments. And the question is also that how to learn to manage that kind of situations later in life. How to cope with situations that are stressful. And I think I fully understand the stressfulness of the diploma program, and we are looking for ways to not lower the bar, but make the studying more meaningful to you. Because we know from research that once you're doing something that is meaningful, it is also more motivational. We are experimenting piloting a kind of a new study entity in 4 schools, IB schools around the world, where we're looking at kind of project-based, team-focused, real-world challenges like food or climate or biodiversity or energy or immigration. And I've spoken with the students taking that new entity, and they are saying that I guess it was as stressful and hard, but it didn't feel like it. So that's the thing that we are trying to become better with, make sure that the things that are studied are something that are really you care about, and in that sense also help you with the questions of well-being and stressfulness.
Should I ask the extra question? So would this new study entity come with more emphasis and more of an example set to take care of mental health and physical health, especially in this taxing course?
Yes, it does. It's what we are looking for. That's one of the reasons why we started it. Of course, we are at the same time, we are also looking at, are there certain elements that we are doing several times as part of the diploma program, where we could help you with that burden, because we notice, and we of course have heard your message, that at certain phases of the diploma program the burden is extremely hard, and for that reason we are looking that could we do something to ease it up, and hopefully the next generations definitely will be benefiting from that.
With TOK being so controversial to grade due to the students and the examiners having different opinions, why is it allowed to allocate points to the subject, and how can you make it more fair and equitable to students to work for the 3 points shared between EE and TOK?
It's a good question, and of course it's a question of also us showing that we value those elements of the diploma program. And as I said, I do believe that they are one of the most important elements of the whole program. And therefore we also have to make sure that we value it. Of course, we constantly need to look at, are there better ways to assess what is happening in there? And as I said, it's not about the hours. It's about the impact and the possibility that it gives to you to reflect who you are and who you want to become. So what we call it a 16 plus initiative, where we are looking at the diploma program and the career-related program at the same time. As part of that, we are looking at the question that you just asked.
It's no surprise that many students opt out of the IB in favor of less challenging and less time-intensive courses. This is not surprising when in 2022, 1.1% of IB diploma graduates got a 45, while 14.5% of A-level students got the equivalent 3 A stars that same year. So if students have a better shot at the top grades in other high school diplomas, why go through the difficult course that is the IB?
Well, I would first say that maybe the year 2022 was not a good comparison year because it was still the COVID year, and so the grades inflated the A levels, especially during that year. So they've definitely come down from those numbers that you mentioned to the normal levels. I think we should also compare like with like. The ability to specialize quite early in your studies to 3 subjects compared to the breadth that the IB program gives you are a bit 2 different things. And I think it's also, I understand that on top of your mind is the question that what is the grade you get and how does it help you get to the next phase in your lives in university studies and so on. But that is not actually what you're studying for, because you are in the front of the question that what are the capabilities and building blocks that you will have for your own life. And I think in that sense, IB is giving a more holistic opportunity to grow as people and persons than some other programs are doing. So I would not give up for that reason to maybe choose an easier route. Because if you start choosing an easier route in life, you can always do everything by asking artificial intelligence. But that's a route that will mean that we will become kind of stupid robots ourselves. And I don't think that is the world and that's the persons who we want to be.
With many students struggling with types of work or assessments given, what are you planning or what have you planned already to make final assessments more accommodating to all students' needs?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I would say that there are 2 different phases that we're looking at. First one is that we are right now in the middle of digitizing our exams. And once we are there, that opens a door for a much more wider set of opportunities to assess what you are capable of demonstrating, but also showing that what is your potential for the future. The other element is as I referred already to the system pathways, transformation pathways pilots that we are doing in those 4 schools. As part of that study entity, we are also piloting kind of additional and new ways of assessment, which are much more assessment that happen on the way of the learning. So it's not kind of only end of study exam, but it's also evaluation that happens on the way and kind of by different ways, that there are evaluations that are self-evaluations, peer-to-peer evaluations, and then also kind of team evaluations based on a portfolio type of elements. So there's a lot of development work that we are doing, and maybe the first one that where you will see the impact is through the digital assessment.
Following the invasion of Ukraine in 2022, which we all heard about, the IB is one of the few international educational institutions that continued its activities in Russia. While the company, the IB organization, may not be affiliated with a political body, surely as an international organization, it's important to be sensitive to current affairs.
Yes, definitely. And as the attack happened, we did some changes. So that was the time when IB as an organization ended all our organizational activities in Russia. We felt though that it wouldn't have been fair for the students studying IB in Russia for us to leave them in trouble. Because they were like in your situation and we would have said to them that this is the end. Now you have to find something else. We didn't want to do them, but we wanted to help them to get them through with their studies. So that's the reason why the IB schools continued in Russia.
Now we can hear 2 questions from people in the audience. So if any of you have questions, you can put your hand up now.
If the aim of CAS is to stop students being reduced down to numbers, then how does the IB deal with quantifying or measuring accomplishments from CAS, if not numbers?
As I said, I don't have an answer for you right now, because I don't want to anticipate what the outcome will be, but we're looking at that question. And I think the big kind of my message to you is that sometimes it's not worth looking at what are the numbers that you're getting, but the question that what you as a person are getting that enables you to grow. Because at the end, that's the thing that matters. That's really the thing that you will benefit further in your life so many times more than the numbers.
One more person can ask a question. Come on, someone put their hand up, please. No one has a question about the IB that you just started. Okay, Carol, last one. Oh, no, there we go.
Thank you.
What is the IB planning on doing for preparing us, or like helping us be more prepared for jobs that are adopting AI? Or like jobs that are integrating AI more and more, so we're more ready for our competition that uses AI. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent question. And I think IB was the first kind of international educational organization when the ChatGPT kind of buzz started, to take a stand to it and to say that we should not definitely ban the use of AI, but we are encouraging our students, educators, our schools to engage with it. Because in that sense, it's a new thing for us all. Because you as students and all adults, we are starting from the same line, engaging with AI. Nobody has expertise of how to use it. So we have together to learn about it. And I think that's the best way what we can teach you. The other thing that we are looking very much is the question that what does IB literacy mean? What does it mean to be capable of using it? What are the ethical ways and considerations that need to be understood when you are using AI? And also the question that understanding what AI is good for and what's not good for. When does it hallucinate? And why does it do it? Those are all questions that we need to learn to do. And of course, that's the same thing with the working life. And again, it's not that in the future in working life, humans would not be needed. So it's really that question that how you can combine your special competencies with the capabilities that AI has. It's that combination that becomes important in working life. And we are doing a lot of work, development work as part of our programs, and creating also a lot of materials that will help you do that.
Thank you so much. I also want to say thank you to Sianna and Karolina for actually organizing this and being the MCs for this. So big round of applause for them. And they will formally thank you themselves, but I wanted to say thank you to you. And I also wanted to just remind the students in the room who are just starting their IBDP journey that there is a long history of, as you know, the IB and Ecolat, and that there are close to 6,000 schools in the world who actually run IB programs. So having the Director General of the IB here today is a huge privilege for our community, and he so patiently took the individual questions which were asked around all the grievances and the hardships that the IBDP students go through. But you know, it is something worth just reminding ourselves that we were the pioneers of the IBDP program, and that the relationship between the IBO and Ecolant is something that is really a part of our very rich history. So thank you again for taking the time to come to speak to our students, and I will let Sianna and Karolina thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, like Mrs. Sam said, thank you for coming here and speaking to us, and thank you guys for listening. And we have an excellent cap for you, so
Thank you so much for letting me join your day, and I definitely wish you all the best in your studies. And as said, Ecolind and IB do have a special history, and I think we have also a shared future in front of us. Thank you so much.